This is Deviate Music Blog presents the 2 minute talk, and this morning we have budding Baltimore artist Nay. Nay, it is great to have you.
It's awesome to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, and you're in Baltimore, correct?
Yeah, I'm in Baltimore.
Okay, awesome. And I mean, first kind of question I want to get into is you have music cities like LA, New York, Nashville,
Yeah.
Houston. I'm sure the scene in Baltimore is a completely different vibe. Can you talk about the music scene there in Baltimore for a minute?
Yeah. So the scene in Baltimore is like very interesting because it's kind of like sectioned off by cliques.
Okay.
And those cliques are like based off of like where you went to high school. It's really interesting. Um, and then I mean there's also like counties. So like PG County in Maryland, which is kind of like near Baltimore, is like really big on like rap and Afro beats.
Mm-hmm.
And then but like Baltimore is like really big on hip hop and indie artists. The R&B scene is up and coming. There's like a lot of bluesy type people and jazz too, so it's like very interesting. And then I mean like a lot of people know Maryland because of Snail Mail, and they're like, oh, that's the type of music you guys make here. And it's like, not really. There's like there's a huge variety of it. It's just depending on what county and high school you went to, really.
Gotcha. I'm a big fan of Snail Mail. Snail Mail is cool.
Yeah, Snail Mail is on repeat every day.
Yep. Exactly. So would you say that she's kind of an outlier then?
I don't think an outlier. She's the one, I think, besides like Corday, the rapper, who's like getting Maryland on like people's radar.
Right.
So it's not really like an outlier, but she's definitely like one of the few artists that made it out of Maryland and is like, oh yeah, I'm mainstream now. So
fair. So Snail Mail, Corday, and Nay now.
I guess I'd love to be up on their level. That would be insane.
So. Of course. In due time, definitely in due time. I have very high hopes. You just released a single, Misery, and
yes.
The way I understand it is Misery is kind of like a watch out for people, like a specific group of people in relationships. How would you describe the message of the single?
Yeah, so it's definitely like a watch out. It's kind of like you kind of have to come to terms with what's really going on in a relationship. And it's not, ironically, it wasn't based off of like a romantic relationship. It was based off of a friendship.
Okay.
And it was just like, I couldn't deal with the fact that I was being portrayed verbally through their perspective to other people as something that I really wasn't. Mm-hmm. And so that's what the song is really about. It's kind of just like you need to talk about it with someone or we can't go any further. So
right. Fair. That's super fair. Talk about it, make a single. Both are on the table.
Yeah, honestly, everything's up for grabs as long as it gets cleared up.
Gotcha. I love it. I need to re-listen through that lens. I think I'd probably have a new perspective on it. But yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. The track itself is it's definitely laid back. Like that's your vibe. And my assumption is that is also due in part by the collaboration with Plant Dad. How did that collaboration come together? Because this is not the first time that you've done a song with him, right?
No, it's not. So this is the first song or second song we've released together.
Okay.
But Plant Dad and I usually help write each other's songs. So we're very entwined in everything. Usually like I'll send him something and be like, hey, I'm thinking about this. What do you think? And so ironically, Misery was like completely done. Like I had a second verse where I was singing and he was like, I don't know, something feels weird. And that was the exact reason why I sent it to him. And I was like, why don't you just sing on it and see what happens? And so then the next day he sent over something and he had two different verses. And I was like, yeah, you're going to be on this song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to do this.
Yeah. And then we also luckily share the same producer. So he's usually sending us each other's stuff, and it's like, oh, Plant Dad made this. Do you have any inputs? So it's like it was very natural. We're always intertwined. So
Okay, gotcha. And he's Baltimore too, right?
Yeah, he is Baltimore. He's like truly Baltimore scene. Like if you want to know what Baltimore is, like the indie scene, that's Plant Dad.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So you guys, it's basically like tit for tat, and I mean, you basically just work on songs almost as a group, and then
yeah.
Gotcha.
I love his work too. Like he's probably one of my most favorite songwriters. So like anything he writes, I'm like, oh, it's golden. This is it.
It's golden.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so for your fans, any live shows coming up, or any pieces of work that you've been working on that you're really excited to share?
Yeah, so I have a live show this Saturday actually. This is so far in DC. And then I have another live show next weekend, May 14th, at this art gallery called Nomu Nomu. It's going to be super cool. There's a lot of cool artists. There's a variety of us. So I'm super excited about that. And then, I mean, I've been releasing one song a month. So that's going to continue until the end of the year. And the next song is definitely different. It's more upbeat. So I'm super excited about that. Love the producers that I've collaborated on that one. Like repping Brooklyn this time, so it's like super cool, and yeah, I'm just excited.
That's awesome. Okay, so DC, and then is the second show in Baltimore then?
Yeah, the second show is also in Baltimore.
Okay, so new stuff on their horizon, lots of stuff that your fans can get excited about. I'd love to hear it.
Oh, for sure, yeah. So and there's also a music video for Misery. I completely forgot about that, so that's gonna be really soon too.
Can you give us any teasers?
You mean like video teasers, or
like just the vibe of the video, where it's shot, things like that?
Yeah, so it's shot in a therapist room, so that's like super cool and fun. Plant Dad's in it, obviously. So it's just like me and a group of my friends. We just decided one day, and we were like, oh, let's just go film a music video. So I'm super excited about it. It's coming out in the middle of May, so be on the lookout for that.
How do you book a therapist room for a video?
So
like how does one go about doing that?
We kind of just made one of our friends say that they needed to go to therapy, and then we asked the therapist if we could use the room. And the therapist is like, no. So then we were like, all right, can we just like look at the room? And so we did. And then we like made a set in my house that looked like a therapist room. But we were trying to, but the therapist was like, you can't do that. And we were like, what if we actually use the session to like talk about stuff too?
Like, I mean, it's that, like, I was wondering if they were just like, nah, use the room. Like, it's all yours.
I wish. No, if we would have used the other room that I was thinking about, because it was like you could book it as if you were a therapist, but then all of us were like, we can't fake that we're therapists. We don't have licenses.
Right.
So
that is hilarious. You literally forced your friend. Well, it could have been mutually beneficial, right?
It could have. I mean, he was super excited about it, and he was like, I'm ready, let's go. And I was like, I don't know if this should be concerning or like an uplifting moment for us.
That is one of the funnier music video stories I've ever heard. That's insane.
Yeah, it's a super cool. I always come up with like weird ideas, and it's always a great story. So
well, I can't wait to check out the music video. That is not actually in a therapist room, but not everyone has to know that.
Exactly. So they could think that it is, and that'll be great.
Exactly. That is a great way to cap off our chat. Nay, thank you so much for stopping by. Misery out now, and music video coming out in the coming weeks. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm okay with the pulse underneath my skin. Maybe we can find love. handsome